The learning of language is different from the teaching of the same. Of course, there are technically qualified teachers, well-designed and graded textbooks, boards in schools or universities with administrative control. But what is more important than these structures is the attitude and motivation of the learners, their language needs, and their efforts to realize them. One can take a horse to water, but one cannot make it drink. So greetings to all of the judges and all of the participants. I am Putu Revalia Putri from Senior High School 2, SEMARAPURA, Bali, and I would like to deliver a speech entitled Foster Creativity and Motivation in Learning Languages as Students to Compete in the Digital Era. Ladies and gentlemen, language is one of the important elements of the country's progress. Language ability is considered as one of the soft skills or special skills that support the use of information and communication technology and is also referred to as a basic skill that will be easily accepted in various sectors of work and the next level of education. We can take one example on the mastery of the English language. By having an English language qualification that is recognized worldwide, future opportunities will be wide open. Indonesia Country Manager Cambridge Assessment English, Sonia Tobin said that English is a passport to compete in the international world. In addition, based on data from the Italam, English is the most widely spoken language in the world by 2021. There are 1.34 billion people who speak English globally. Therefore, mastering this language is of course very important to be able to continue to be relevant to the development of the digital world, which is increasingly rapidly. Ladies and gentlemen, basically, in learning languages, especially English, motivation in each individual is very important. Because with this motivation, creativity to continue learning will grow. One of the motivations that can make students successful in learning various languages is to instill in them their desire to integrate with the culture and language they are learning. This method makes a person practice actively and does not depend only on books or teachers. Thus, the ability to master English because of motivation is one of the important factors so that students are proficient in English. As a factor supporting the success of learning English the best as not hindered by factors of age, condition, and place. But, ladies and gentlemen, in reality, students' motivation in learning English is still not optimal, let alone the creativity of each individual. Lack of confidence, lack of new vocabulary and sentence structure that are different from Indonesian make many students lazy or tend to be embarrassed to take this lesson. There are some students who have a phobia of learning English so that this fear that makes the students dislike it so that it results in students learning outcomes under the minimum completeness criteria. Many students in learning English feel less enthusiastic and have no motivation to learn because for them, English is difficult, lots of assignments, and boring. This is evidenced by a report from the educational institution Education First or EF. Indonesia has an English proficiency index of 466 in 2021. This score is in the low ability category and places it in the 5th place in Southeast Asia. This makes Indonesia's English proficiency ranked 80 out of 112 countries in the world. If this continues to be a load, then how can we compete in a global world with rapid technological developments like today? How can the economy, educational, culture, and so on sector develop in this country? So, ladies and gentlemen, to overcome this, it is necessary to take a number of actions that can develop motivation, innovation, and creativity in each individual in language so that they can compete and be on par with developed countries in the world in a mature manner in the digital era. These actions include, first, increase students' creativity in English by doing active learning. An example is the Modern Talent Show. With the Modern Talent Show held at school, students are given a place to be creative in language field according to their interests. This will motivate students to continue practicing in order to show their best so they can improve their English speaking skills. Active learning can also be done by participating in competitions starting from internal competitions at school as the first step in building self-confidence. Second, forming motivation by obtaining support internally and externally from various parties. Internally, motivation can be grown by writing goals in learning English on a piece of paper and passing it yes on the study table or in a place that will be seen often. While external motivation, for example, a student is given motivation to learn without a word from parents when achieving a certain achievement or with anti-mainstream learning tricks by teachers. This will make students not easily bored and can still be happy while learning English. Third, utilizing technology to learn English. Currently, there are many applications, web, or even other online resources that can support someone in learning English or foreign languages. Moreover, today's young generation is very familiar with the existence of technology, so this will stimulate them to act creatively in finding learning methods and not rely on teachers. Well, ladies and gentlemen, in the end, learning English does not mean that we're leaving our mother tongue. However, through English, we can introduce cultural diversity and even develop the country's economic sector and can introduce this nation's language to those who naturally want to know about this nation. This aims to improve English skills or foreign language skills for the younger generation who are said to be agents of change. Not turning this nation into an English-speaking country, but how can this nation also use English as an international language to be able to compete globally in the digital era? So let's prioritize mother tongue and mastering foreign languages, because nothing is difficult if you want to learn. A proverb say, struggle that you do today is the single way to build a better future. So ladies and gentlemen, that's all of my speech. Thank you for your attention and goodbye.